Greetings. This is Elder Blacklight. Here go another victim of Satan, the devil. I think her name is Brianna Taylor. Under the cover of coronavirus.
Ones of Brianna Taylor grieving and outraged. The 26-year-old Louisville first responder shot 8 times and killed by police.
Just to know that she died like that in the comfort of her own home.
On March 13th, before 1 a.m., Louisville police say 3 officers executed a search warrant at Taylor's apartment, an address police believed was used by a suspected drug dealer to traffic narcotics. Police reports say officers Jonathan Mattingly, Brett Hankinson, and Miles Cosgrove, wearing plain clothes and no body cameras, announced themselves and forced entry.
The officers forced entry into the exterior door and were immediately met by gunfire.
But in a new wrongful death lawsuit against the officers, Taylor's family says they never announced themselves. The suit says Taylor and her boyfriend Kenneth Walker, startled from sleep, believed it was a break-in and called 911 for help. Walker, a licensed gun owner, then shot and wounded one of the officers. Officers returned fire, the suit says, blindly into the residence. Taylor's family attorneys say no drugs were found in the home.
And the tragedy of it is, it wasn't coronavirus that killed Brianna Taylor. It was police officers who were being reckless and irresponsible.
Walker is now facing charges for attempted murder of a police officer. His attorney says he's completely innocent. Still absorbing her loss.
That's how people it out. She didn't deserve this.
Katie Beck, NBC News.
Ahmaud Arbery. Some more corruption, courtroom corruption. See, that's why we need a network going on, hitting them hard, because it's happening in different sections of the United States. Seems like it could be happening on a daily basis or hourly basis, but we are reporting foolishness, what the entertainers are doing. But the thing is not to report what happens. The thing is to really seek justice on a higher level. The higher level is us taking over the controls.
Mr. Mohammed, I know you want to say a few more words on separation before we go into the next subject.
Mr. Cup, I'm very anxious to finish what we started with. If we are to stay here with you, we must stay in a separate part of America with you.
Mr. Mohammed, with your position, you were saying about the Negro doing things for himself. Then you say the government must turn around and give him all this territory and operate it for him for 20 years.
We think the government is obligated. We have given her 400 years. And now we want to go for ourselves. How are we to get started for ourselves if the slave master is not willing to provide the means for us to go free for ourselves?
In your position on separation, did you feel that the Supreme Court made a mistake in 1954 when it ruled that segregation must end in the public school systems?
No, I don't say the government made a mistake by saying the kind of segregation that we have lived under should be terminated. I don't think she made any mistake there. But I do think the government is making a mistake now to try to hinder us from being separated. Since we have already lived under segregation for the past centuries. Now we would like to be separated and live over here to ourselves, since we cannot get along with you in peace.
Let me take you into another area that we discussed at the opening of the show, Mr. Muhammad. That is your prediction in the book, The Message to the Black Man, that the whites and the non-whites inevitably must come to a war. Do you really feel that there must be a war between the races?
If you will not submit to the law of justice, freedom, justice, and equality, and submit to do good, certainly, this is the time that good confronts us to rule the people, and not evil. Your history teaches us that you have always warred. In Europe, there was once a 100-year war, 30-year war, and there have continued a war history of your race ever since you had civilization.
But it isn't only the white man, Mr. Muhammad. Every man, white, red, yellow, has always engaged in war just as much as the white man.
History never give us any knowledge of a war between the brown, yellow, black races before you.
Oh, the Chinese and the Japanese warred for many, many centuries, and certainly the blacks in Africa had their tribal wars, and the Muslims and Christianity had their religious wars. I mean, war has been a part of man ever since.
And in your sphere of ruling the people since 6,000 years, you will mention what happens in the period of 6,000 years. Well, you are the boss there. You started there.
You maintain that the white man, according to this book, has been on this earth only 6,000 years.
Only 6,000
and that the black man was here many, many years, centuries before.
We don't have no word for it.
Honorable Elijah Muhammad, for the Lost Foundation of Islam in North America. To the Muslims of Number 1 Michigan, the following is the original rules of instruction to the laborers of Islam, and the title of Muslim given by our Savior before his departure, with a footnote of a few words of explanation to lay pressure upon their minds of their many errors in the past and present, that they may see the light and walk therein. I thank you. Elijah Muhammad. Instructions given to the laborers by our Savior, W.D. Farad Muhammad. 1. The student must study his assignment, lesson number 1. Each student should copy the answers of lesson of Minister Elijah Muhammad and study until the student is able to memorize by heart all answers to of said lesson number 1. Note, here lesson number 1 is said to be the student's assignment first. Lesson number 1 lays the base of our work today and gives the student a clear knowledge of himself and his heavenly home, the best part of the earth, and who was the enemy to him and his nation, and why the enemy and righteous could not live together, and why was the righteous able to cast out his enemy. This teaches the student what he must do with the enemy of the righteous today. The righteous nation is now living in every part of the planet Earth. Therefore, the enemy must now be removed in every part of the